Hello, context traders. Today is May 21st, 2025, and I'd like to go over with you today's trading session. Today's trading session was pretty good overall. We had a very nice opening surge. There was an opportunity midpoint of the day for reversal, and then we see a bit of a snap here towards the early afternoon. I'm not going to go over everything. I'm going to go over just my trades for the day and what I saw. But where are we here? We're opening today in a gap down situation. We had come up into an overhead 200 on our 5-minute chart, and we gapped off of that, pushing clear down into this range right here. So we opened at 516.22 coming off of 520. So that is a strong move to the downside. Now, you might be thinking that because of this, we might see some continuation, but this is the one concept, the one and only concept that you need to be profitable as a trader. There are many things, absolutely, that help you with confluences, but the one concept that you need to ingrain in your minds are the 21 moving average and the 200 moving average. Price will come to them, it will deflect off of them, but price will always come back to them. We gapped at such a far distance from the 21, which is far enough from the 200, that this is a gravitational pull. This is going to try to suck back into this range. Could it have gone lower? News catalyst, something overnight? Absolutely. This is not 100% effective, but it is highly probabilistic that we will try to come back into this range in the near future. Also, if we drop to our higher time frames just for a moment, let's look at where we were at. This last giant gap up move, we pull up our fib, we are gapping into a 38.2 fib zone. We're in an upper third zone. This is highly probabilistic if it holds in this area to continue and at least get back to that high. Okay, which we did see that. We did breach that high by a few pennies, which created a liquidity sweep, and then we dumped back down. So let's take a look at the day start. All right, so let me go back to my 5-minute. Now, let me sync these up, sync up the charts. Now, I did hesitate. I didn't jump straight in at the bell. I have a bad habit of sometimes trying to anticipate the first move of the day instead of waiting and seeing what happens. So I'm trying not to jump straight in at the bell, even though I had a bias that this was going to potentially come up, particularly if you look at the overnight session, which you don't want this to completely bias you because we do see a lot of movement in that first 2-minute bar a lot of times. But this did look pretty good coming in. We're coming lower, comes up, pops down, and then this breaches straight through. So I did take a glance at this right here. This is the opening bell, in which we were clearing that area right there at 516.40. That's where I decided to get in to this trade. Okay, so back to our open. So I got into this trade at 516.40. Open, starts pushing up, clears that area in the free market. I'm in. My risk is immediately just below that opening candle. It could come down wicket and still go. I'm okay with that. If it takes me out, I'll look to reparticipate. But I don't want to give up any in case we have a quick dump. But this is feeling like a pretty good push to the upside. We get 1, 2, 3-minute push, starts to slow down a little bit. I took off part of my position right here. So let's go. It went from 516.40. We're up here 517.75. We're better than $1. And so I took part of my position off there. I held the rest. We started to build a little bit of a mini structure here. And then take a little look at this. What did we see at the end of day yesterday? We had this nice end of day leg. And what are we holding above? Wicking right into it. So this is reclaiming an area of interest, right? We broke through it and we're pulling back. We're wicking right on top of that same area. That's adding to my confluences. So after we chop in here for a little bit, I decided to add my position back in. So I got back in on this candle right here as it's above the 2-minute range. So we're above that 2-minute range. We're wicking right on top of it. So I get back in here and I take this up into the 200. Got all out on this 200 right here as we're falling back in. I didn't necessarily think the move was entirely over, but this was a really nice run in here. 516.40 clear into 519. And so I took that position off thinking we might come back, reset somewhere in this area here, a little bit lower, or maybe this area, but I wasn't entirely sure and I wanted to bank the profit. I did start looking at my charts and looking back over here. I was thinking, okay, maybe we go after this area, or maybe we go after this area right here. So this was a nice strong leg in. If we could get a reset, we might be able to get up into there. Okay, now as I mentioned before, I really love my 2-minute, my 5-minute, and my 15-minute ranges, right? Each day could be a little different. Today, we pull back into our 15-minute range and we are just holding in there, okay? We saw this candle shoot up, wicked straight back down. That could either be a stop stealer to send it down, or this could be the Marines breaking down the door, clearing some pathway for us in the future. Don't know initially which it's going to be. It did hold and chop around in here for a little while. I ended up getting back in to this trade, looking to see if we could get this 21,200 squeeze. I was looking for this right in here to push through. So I got back in right here on this candle. It was setting us up for an opening 15-minute range retest. It looked like we were starting to get above the 200 on the one, that we're going to squeeze on the two. So I got in here on this candle and it didn't quite take off. It started chopping around in here for a bit. So I sat on this one for quite a while with my risk right here, but I'm in up here. So I didn't love how long this was taking. I did end up adding in on this candle as it was coming back down, thinking that this is a range play. My bias is still to the upside, but this is a range play. Could be in here for a while. So I added in on this candle and took that add off on this candle. So I'll show you what I was looking at here. I was looking at this being a potential range play for a while. And so I added in here, but I don't necessarily expect it's going to break the range. It hasn't broken this range from 10 a.m. Eastern to 10:40 Eastern, 40 minutes of staying range bound. So I added in here, immediately took the add off here, which allowed me to bank profit and essentially now set my stop right here at a full break even plus a couple ticks. So even if this thing comes back down, because I got in and out, that little move there, I took that profit to put onto my stop loss. So now I felt like, okay, I can hold this entire range and actually did set my stop down here below this candle, and I'm break even. This thing comes down, takes me out, I'm break even. I already banked the profit. We're good. And I'm holding for my longer term focus that I'm thinking we're going to the upside. So we come up, we finally hold. This is your continuation play right here. We breach, pull back. We're finally building steam. We're getting some closes up in this area. Pay attention to this. It's not just wicks, but we're getting closes in here. So you can get in here, here, here. Any of these would be an opportunity as we're expanding out of that narrow state. And then we get a beautiful move up, up, C retrace, final explosion, boom. I'm out right here at 522. And what does that coincide with? Let me scroll back a little bit. This was this area right here that I looked at. This previous close at 522 seemed like a good place to get out. So overall, really nice play. Took this in a couple of legs, but we're in down here at 516.40. We sat through a bit of chop in here and we're out at 522. Just a really beautiful overall day. We sucked right back up into that range. And now we're narrowing out the 5 minute and we exploded through to the upside. I logged off here, didn't trade any of this. I did come back later in the day, saw this setting up, or I'm sorry, saw this setup that I believe some members in our community took. You saw this. Finally, what do we have? The opposite of what we had here. Price away from the 200, separated from the 21. It is close to the 21 here, but we have this giant tent. Price cracks through, pulls back, and just slams right into that 200. I personally, because of the long extended up run, probably would not have taken this put. I can see why someone would take this just based on context. We swept some highs above 522. We got up into that higher range that we could have a pullback. So I wouldn't hate on anyone for taking this one, but just because of the strong up move, I like to wait when we have these strong legs out, these strong moves out. I want to see at least a 2 minute change of character. So we had a low here, produce a high here. So any close down in here, now I would be interested. So I would have been very interested in this move right here. So right in this zone, we cleared, we pulled back, we hesitate. I would have been happy to take this one into the 200 on the 2 minute chart and then see what happens. Now, obviously we didn't have any bounce here. We could have come in here, bounced, and then dropped, and it just seared right through. What a beautiful move. I'm sure some of our community members took this one, just absolutely banger of a trade. You know, if you get in at the high 523, if you get in here around 522, all the way down to 513.50. What a beautiful, beautiful move that was. Now, I admit I sat out all of this. I just came back to my charts and I was getting ready to do this video and I saw this, one of my favorites. This is my muse. I have a hard time saying no to these. Look what happened. We just blasted clear through the range. And I'm thinking, okay, we're going to come back up to this range, at least up to this range. So did this wonderful V snap. I didn't quite get to my computer before this took off. I likely would have been in right in this area, but I did not. I was in here and I saw this zone. So you see wick, bounce, dropped lower, reclaimed it, testing in it. So I got in on this candle right here as this one was taking off. And I'm in right here at right on 515. And we get a nice impulse steer right through that 21. Hesitated. I took off half of my position right there. Waited for it to pull back, see if we get a bounce, if we get a bit of a scoop and score look. We get a bounce and a dud, and I took the rest of my position off right there. So 515 at 517 and a quarter, pulls back, bounces, take the rest off right at about 517, 516.90, and beautiful end of my trading session right there. I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the day. Um, right now, it looks like we're on the outside of the range, testing low of day. So this thing could spill, or we might chop around, try to get back up in the range, and then we could start moving our way back up towards the top of the range. I don't know what's going to happen here. This is why we watch the charts. We don't try to anticipate. We see what is happening, what should happen, and what am I going to do if I see what I want to see. Right? So this is holding. If this reclaims the range and gets back up in this 516 and a quarter area, I would potentially look for an opportunity to get long back to the top of the range. If it continues to flirt and crack back below, I would consider looking to get short, particularly if these moving averages on the 5 minute start to catch up. But right now, for me, this is a sit on hands moment. I'm just going to wait and see what happens here. Probably going to call it a day. Nice early trades, and then just caught this beautiful little snap, quick few minutes. I sat through this for over an hour and a half, and I made this in a matter of minutes. So, where are you getting more efficient with your time to money opportunity here? So, as always, I don't want to tell you how to trade. This is for me just as an educational opportunity for you to teach you about what I'm looking for, what I'm seeing in the markets. Feel free to adapt the things that I teach with your own influences and confluences. Try to make this your trades. Don't copy our trades, right? We want you to learn how to do this for yourselves and find your trade. Find that one setup for you that each and every day you can take to the bank so you can make this a long and profitable career. So, until next time, everyone, I wish you the best and happy trading.